One of the big things, we did an exercise this summer in a Kellie. We're in a little boardroom trying to bring a whole group together and respond to an exercise that we were doing. None of us could plug in to our computer. You couldn't get online. And then if you went back to somebody's hotel room, you got kicked off every 20 minutes. Again, some of the just issues like Bell works up there, TELUS is hit and miss, Rogers does not work at all, just because the way the structure is set up. So it's just some of those basic challenges that you expect. So you're trying to deal with an emergency, and you're going back to going, okay, maybe we should know Morse code, maybe we should know something else, because it was very frustrating not having the computer, but then everybody's expecting you to work that way, and you're making phone calls and spending all your time working from that perspective. A lot of our communities don't have emergency plans. They've all kind of rely on like, oh, well, the government's there. We're very thin with our government of where we're going. So a lot of it is that a community has an event. It's very quickly that there are resources, because a lot of times there's triple, quadruple people in the community. So as soon as they have one, they very quickly call the territorial government. Very quickly the territorial government calls the federal. So that we all kind of work together. So that's kind of built us into a team, but community level is not really planning. They're not really, we haven't got them to buy in and be our champions yet. We don't do a lot of risk assessment hazards. We haven't identified a lot of them. Nunavut is trying. Yukon's a little bit more prepared. NWT, they have some, but again, it's nothing official. And those are the systems that we have to know that so that we can start planning for them. I guess the big thing is that we have to find initiatives to start working and find our partners wherever we can. And sometimes we have been going to the mining, the private sector to help us with some of those initiatives to move forward. And because that's part of their mandate for being up there helping, so we've kind of capitalized on that. But it's just finding partnership ideas, and we just have to be creative when it comes to finding. So a lot of times we'll work together, and multi-level of government will come together. And we'll work just to say, and mainly it's out of necessity and survival, that we're coming together to say, okay, how can we best use these dollars instead of competing against each other? And with the work with the 4 pillars that Heather talked about of emergency management, where we're going forward, a lot of focus has been on preparedness and response, but the prevention, mitigation, and recovery has not really been there, is not in the strength that it needs to be. Not that we're anywhere near that with our preparedness and response, but we're a lot better off than we are than the other pillars. And I think the big opportunity after Pagnerton, it really woke us up that as an EM community, we really need to start working more with our other partners and reaching out more to the academics and the scientists and that to kind of help us and just expand our team that we have and just make it bigger to bring the people in to be able to help us with those resources. But that really opened our eyes, because in the past, we're used to responding to natural disasters. We thought, okay, well, this is fine, but more and more events are happening, and we're kind of going, oh, maybe we should be reaching out. So it's taken a little bit of time to convince people that that's where we should be going, but I think we are headed in that direction. So we have created a bit of a Team North concept. Again, I think it's out of our survival where we're going forward, and a lot of it, you'll hear a lot about Arctic sovereignty and security, where we're going, especially from the federal government side. But a lot of times that's with deep water ports, the military ships, Coast Guard ships. But from a territorial perspective, the territorial premiers came forward and said, we're already doing Arctic sovereignty. It's by us living here, by us being here, we're the human dimension of Arctic sovereignty. So it's to make sure that the people are the important and that we are the aspect. We work together on a very collaborative basis. Again, I think it's just come out of need and necessity. A lot of people just roll up their sleeves, a lot of egos go in the back pocket, and everybody's just willing to help. Because, especially those that are living there, it's like, this affects all of us, so it's that survival mentality. There's a lot of issues now that we're doing a lot more on a pan-territorial perspective. So we're taking all 3 territories, working together on initiatives to say, what are our main initiatives? And then we're going forward to Ottawa to say, okay, these are the ones that we want addressed. There may be a little bit difference, but these are the ones that, look, we agreed on these, so now can you help us? So we're trying it from that perspective. The Northern Vision was where the premiers actually came together, wrote a paper, sent it to Ottawa. What their Northern Vision was. It was to help counterbalance the Northern strategy that is out there to say, well, this is what's important to us. So, can you make sure that they're integrated and that they work together? A lot of it too with the Canada Winter Games. They were hosted in 2007 up in Whitehorse. It was the first time they were north of 60 that they had these games. Very success, actually number-wise, and with the number of athletes and everything, bigger than the Olympics. It's just not an international event. So it was something that was hosted there, but the whole theme around it was welcome to the North, and it was the 3 territories working together. So even though it was Yukon that was hosting them, putting it all in, it was very much to showcase the North coming together and what we were going to do and what we could do. So we do have those successes, we just got to keep building on those. We do a lot of sharing of information, and through our friends at D&D with Joint Task Force North being located in the North, and they have resources. They do exercises on a regular basis. And so what's now is that they're providing the platform for us. So they'll come out and put big money down to provide some of these exercises. Then they're really bringing the other government departments together going, okay, you guys set up the scenario, you guys do what you want to do. We'll just provide this platform, we'll be here, this is what we're going to do. So it's really working together, and D&D is supposed to be in support of everybody, and they're showing that as a true example. And a lot of the lessons learned, we don't quite, really a lot of them right now are just lessons identified. We haven't quite learned them. It's sometimes we're repeating them over and over again. So right now we're on some lessons identified. Hopefully soon they'll become some lessons learned. So part of our integrated approach that we do in the North is that with our territorial local governments, and then is what happens, I've established a federal emergency coordination group, which is all federal departments that have responsibility for the North. And then we also bring in the private sector that's in the North. So it's a lot of it's our utilities companies and the mines, and that they come together. And in the center, you'll see the Territorial Emergency Response Committee. So as soon as something's brewing, something's happening, that TERC group comes together, and it's an integrated agency. We come together, we sit down, and then we kind of plan where we're going. One of the great support that the military is bringing to us for this is that, again, what they have a lot of the resources, they have personnel, but they're very good at planning, thinking forward. So a lot of times when they're coming into this group, they're doing a lot of the forward planning for us. So we can bring the groups together, the small numbers that we have. They can do some of the planning, when we're responding to the emergency, and then some of those guys in the military are doing some of the forward planning, so when they come back to the other meetings going, here's some things we should be thinking about down the road. One of the things that we've just started working on is an Arctic Common Operation Picture. So it's trying to get some key departments together, public health, RCMP, D&D, public safety, and Environment Canada. Well, we're all coming together, and anything happens, we're kind of just monitoring it, and even if it doesn't ramp up to anything, we're just kind of aware of what's happening across the North, engaging with our EMOs to go forward. And then we actually have an Arctic CAT team, which is our crisis action team, that is ready to go, and then that way initially start anything that's happening. So it's just everybody starting to work together. And another one of our just great successes that we have this Arctic Security Working Group. It's been around since 1999. Now we're starting to really get a lot of attention. So this is our annual objective. It's really about working together. It's all the different levels of government with NGOs, Aboriginal groups, and academia. And we have these meetings twice a year. Our last meeting was just in the beginning of November. Usually we average about 65 people. We had 110 people at this meeting, and all of a sudden Ottawa's interested, going, what are you guys doing? And the great news is that we've now gone down, done presentations, because the Arctic, we're in the spotlight, so we're taking advantage of it before the Olympics happen. And so we've really got this ADM level committee that's an emergency management committee. They've agreed to be the champion for this Arctic Security Working Group. So when we have issues now that hopefully that we'll now have a voice, somebody in Ottawa to listen to us, they've now decided to be our parents so that we can take issues to them to be in the forefront in Ottawa. Before that, the information was great. People would come up for all this information where it was going, but it wasn't being harnessed and used anywhere. Right? We like to think that we're maybe having policy change, but we weren't really getting there. And so just our way forward is that we just need to continue to work together. And it's going to take time, but we just got to keep making those baby steps. A lot of things we're doing in the North, we've done out of necessity, so we keep building steps, but people are starting to say, hey, we're doing things, so we're being looked upon as an example. And again, the leadership model for EM is not one size fits all, so it's taking all the different ones, fitting them together, and what works for us. And I think what everybody else is saying, it's not, learning from the past is important, but it's not the all, and we have to make sure that we're planning and looking forward.